Okay guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the best lean bulking protocol, how to build a good amount of muscle with minimal body fat. First of all, why should you even listen to me? My name is Max Rogers. I own a coaching company where I've helped nearly 500 people do exactly this and lose a whole load of body fat. So let's dive in. First things first, you have to ask yourself, guys, can you even bulk, okay? A lot of people want to build muscle, but you have to be honest with yourself. If this is male or female, if you look in the mirror and you think, you know what, I'm holding a little bit too much, I'm not happy with how I look, this video is not for you. You need to go into a calorie deficit and pull a decent amount of fat off. You should only go into any form of bulk or lean bulk or gaining phase when you have a decent level of body fat. First things first, I'm gonna take an average male because this channel is 80% men. If you're a female watching this, you just take your weight, your height, your activity level. It is the same. 80 kilo guy, 180 centimeters, fairly active. So I worked out on a pretty standard calorie calculator that my maintenance calories, or this person's maintenance calories, is around 2,580 calories with a fairly active lifestyle, so on and so forth. You know, 10,000 steps, 3 to 4 training sessions, a bit of cardio every now and then. Now, we want to be conservative in our bulk because it's supposed to take a long time, minimum 6 months, which I'll get to in a bit. So a 10% increase in calories is going to take us to about 2,830. That would be about 1 kg per month of body weight gained. Or we can be slightly more aggressive, which would be 20% an increase, which is 3,080 calories, which is about 2 kilos per month. Half a kilo per week, 0.25 kilos per week. Which one you do is completely up to you. They are both totally fine, okay? But for me, building muscle is very slow, losing fat is very quick. I'm looking to be as slow as possible because you will eventually build these calories up over time, which we'll get into shortly. So we have protein, fats, and carbs. Protein is going to be 1 gram per pound. Guys, don't overcomplicate this. Keep it simple, guys. It's about being consistent. 1 gram per pound, 176 grams. Fats, between 20 and 25% of total calories. I've just gone with 20%, okay? Carbs, obviously the rest. By working that out, we've got 176 grams of protein, which is 704 calories. We've got 63 grams of fat, which is 567 calories. I'm not even in this. And carbs, 390 grams, which is 1,559 calories. One thing you have to think about, guys, people always talk about bulking, protein. No, the main driver is actually carbohydrates when it comes to building muscle. If your protein intake is higher than your carbohydrate intake, you're not going to build a whole lot of muscle. We drive carbohydrates up, okay? Once we've got these numbers, you might think of kind of how we done this, right? So 1 gram of protein gives us these, 20% of total calories gave us those, and then took away the rest, and that's our 390. Once we're there, we want to adjust those calories every kind of 2 to 4 weeks. Now guys, you kind of know what you're aiming for. Are you aiming for that super slow gain or a little bit quicker? You should be weighing yourself every day. As you weigh yourself, after 2 weeks, if your weight hasn't budged after 2 weeks, guys, you probably need to go 15% or 20%. Or if you're already at 20% and you haven't budged at all, you might need to go 25%, okay? So we would adjust calories every 2 to 4 weeks. Again, if maybe you start gaining too quick and then you're gonna say, I only need a 5% increase. Maybe your maintenance isn't actually quite here. These calorie calculators aren't bang on for everybody, all right? Now, not super important like nutrient partitioning and timing, but one thing I would look to do is try and time your carbohydrates around your workout. Don't overcomplicate this, guys. And just think, I want to be fueled for my training. I want to feel good. So I'm going to have good amount of carbs before, maybe some in the middle of the workout, good amount of carbs afterwards. Don't overcomplicate it. Now, flipping it over, we're going to talk about training. I would recommend the majority of people train either 3 times a week or 4 times a week. If we're going to train 3 times a week, it's going to be full body, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. If you want to know exactly what routine, go back to some of my videos. I've got a standard beginner 3-day plan. If you're going to train 4 times a week, I'd run it 2 ways. Upper, lower, better for women, or a push-pull legs upper, better for men. Guys, if you have the smallest legs of all time, you're probably going to be here, aren't you? If you've got big tree trunk legs and they grow from a few sets, maybe you can go here. Use your initiative. We've got the calories going in. We need to get stronger over time. Remember, your gaining phase should be a minimum of 6 months. You don't build much muscle in 8 weeks. You cannot build that much muscle in a short period of time, okay? If you want to really look better, you need to have a solid run at it. We know that we need to get stronger over time, okay? We do that by sleeping, rest, proper training, proper recovery, proper calories. We need to make sure form is perfect, okay? If you're bench pressing 80 kilos for 10, then you go to 85 kilos for 10, and you drop the bar on your chest and bounce it off your chest, you have not increased your bench press 5 kilos. You have taken load off the pec, okay? Form is perfect. Warm-up set, working sets, failure sets, your form looks the same, right? I've done videos on this before. Then we're looking to progress our lifts. Once we've nailed tempo, control of the movements, not just throwing weight from A to B, we're then looking to progress our lifts. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you need to progress your training. Over a 6-month period, if you've progressively increased your body weight, progressively increased your calories, and progressively increased your lifts in the gym, you would have progressively built muscle, okay? Very straightforward. And then here I've got adjusting volume. Now, if you're somebody like me, whose legs grow very easily, I do not need to put a lot of volume into my lower body, okay? Because my legs are bigger than my upper body. So I would run something like a push-pull legs, or if I'm running my full body, I'll just have less leg volume. So you have to look in the mirror and say, right, I've got tiny arms, tiny triceps, my shoulders are great. Where do I want to put a little bit more volume? And you can add a bit more volume to body parts. That's completely dependent on you, your genetics, and your body, okay? Women, probably going to have more glute work. Guys, probably going to have more upper body and chest and arms, shoulders work. Now we're speaking about this 6 months minimum, okay? Guys, you can't do a lean bulk for 12 weeks and then just stop and then do an 8-week cut, 12 weeks, 8 weeks. You'll look the same after a year. You know it and I know it. You have to commit, okay? However, the longer you're in a gaining phase, eventually you're going to put on body fat, okay? It is going to creep on. Remember, that's why I like that 10% increase, not the 20% or the 30% increase in calories. Every now and then, maybe every 3 months or so. So if you're running a 6-month cut, you might go 12 weeks of gaining and then just pull back just for 2 weeks where you just cut your calories, maybe drop 500 calories out, increase a little bit of cardio. And in those 2 weeks, you'd look to drop, maybe even 3 to 4 kilos. What this will do is it will stimulate your appetite. It will get you ready to go back into that phase 2 of the gaining phase, and it will shift any unwanted body fat. A 6-month gaining phase straight, you're going to accumulate a fair bit of fat, guys. So a little mini cut every now and then does wonders, especially for your appetite. But that mini cut can't be a 6-week mini cut, okay? It's just you're in and out. Now, last thing I want to finish on is sleep, recovery, and booze. If you're not sleeping properly, you're not really going to build much muscle, okay? If you're a teenager watching this and you go out every Friday and Saturday, get hammered, don't recover and don't sleep, you're not going to build much muscle past those first couple of years, kind of beginner stages, okay? Sleep. 7 to 8 hours. You grow in your sleep. You recover in your sleep. You get better in your sleep. You do not grow in the gym. You literally break down muscle in a gym. It's the opposite. Recovery. This is why I like a 3 or 4 day split. If you're training 6 days a week, push-pull legs, 1 day off, and on that day off you're out drinking, you're not going to build much muscle, guys. You recover outside of the gym. 3 to 4 training days a week gives you plenty of time to grow, okay? And then alcohol. Guys, alcohol will affect muscle protein synthesis, MPS, how much protein is used to build muscle. If you're drinking a lot of alcohol, you tend to be falling off plan. Your sessions aren't great, your recovery's not great, your sleep's not great, your nutrition falls off, and it just massively affects things. So if you really want to have a great physique, try and stay away from alcohol as much as possible. If you're getting hammered 3 times a week, you're not doing a lean bulk. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you have any questions to me, leave them in the comments and I'll keep making videos like this.